Hey Dave, what can you tell us about Clayton?
Clayton had a MRI this morning, and just like we expected, it was just inflammation. And he's going to start playing catch again tomorrow, and enjoy the break with his family, and we'll figure out when in the second half we'll pencil him back in the rotation.
Given that he's playing catch again tomorrow for the first time, like when can we see him at least throw a bullpen?
I think it's all contingent on today, and then we'll kind of know more as he plays catch. But I think for us, just making sure that we get that inflammation to dissipate and go from there.
Is he experiencing pain in the elbow? How much do we know
It was just
about
some soreness. It was soreness, and he's never had soreness in his elbow, so we just wanted to kind of check all the boxes and make sure that there was nothing else to it, and fortunately there wasn't.
And just how much does that give you a sigh of relief given where you guys are at with your rotation right now?
I think that we all felt that there was going to be nothing from it, but just to get confirmation certainly is a very good thing.
Last one for me. Do you have an update on Corey?
No, I think right now he's still just taking swings, batting practice, grounders, doing everything he can. And so our expectation is still for him to be back in that Giant series.
Next question's from Fabiana Daya. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave. I know you kind of alluded to this, but I mean, if this wasn't coming up around the All-Star break, is this something you feel like Clayton could have thrown through, or like you wouldn't have been as quick to put him on the IL?
That's a fair question. I don't know. I just think that having 4 days sort of that you're not really losing anything made it easy. But I don't know, Fabian. I just know that with everything that we know now, we're in a pretty good spot.
And then is the plan still for about 3 innings for David tonight?
That's kind of the plan, and depending on how efficient he is, we'll kind of be able to read and react.
Is he pretty much in your rotation at this point?
I think that's a fair assumption given where we're at as far as the roster with starting pitching.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Next question's from Mike DiGiovanna. Go
ahead. Hey, Dave. Looked like Cody was getting ready to warm up a bit there with those 2 home runs against the Cubs in back-to-back games. Last 9 or 10 games have gone the other way for him. What are you seeing in his at-bats, and any sort of common thread there?
Common thread. I see some really good at-bats in there. I see some at-bats that are not so good. Even his last swing the other day, I think it was his last swing, ball to right center. I thought he squared it up. So I think for Cody, it's just more of the abbreviated spring training, the broken, start-stop in the season, and hitting is hard. And for him to be on our club and impact us defensively like he has, and to still try to get untracked and stay on track offensively, it's still a work in progress. But all I expect is competing and trying to win pitches. And when he does that in the box, I think that all the performance will start to line up.
Was the decision to not hit on the field today made on the plane before today?
We made that decision a couple days ago, actually.
Oh, okay.
Our hitting guys are pretty ahead of rest and recovery and all that stuff.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Next question's from Eric Steven. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, just wondering with the All-Star game, I know managers don't have a say in the roster anymore, but once the roster's kind of set, or at least partially set, have other managers called you to say, like, certain guys can only go certain innings or things like that?
That's hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen. It happens every year.
And then, growing up, watching the All-Star game, how does that compare to now that you've managed in it a few times and are going to do it again?
It's still a tremendous experience, a tremendous honor, and it's something that it's the one time still each year that fans can see the stars all in one place. And so I remember being a young kid watching the All-Star game and being in awe. And so now to be able to address the National League All-Stars, have the coaches there to experience it, be a part of it, it's mind-blowing. It really is. So I think that for me personally, Eric, to go to the White House a week ago and then now to a week, from now to be able to manage the All-Star game, it's been just quite the ride, and I never take it for granted.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Last questions from Joe Painter Lopez. Go ahead.
Dave, what can you say about the bullpen and just the situation that they're in right now, and the innings that they've had to eat and will continue, to have to go through this weekend, and the way they've handled it?
I've talked to some other managers, and it seems like we're all in the same spot. And we see the first finish line at the break, as is the break, and so we're in it, and we're going to get through it. But yesterday, with what Julio did, was a big lift for our club. So we have 3 days to manage, but we'll be fine. We'll get through it.